Welcome to my channel. My name is Asia Ali, and today we are joined by Veniesa Lee Dillon, and she is an SFX makeup artist.
Today we are going to add a prosthetic onto her skin. I'm going to give examples of how I made those, as well as we are going to add a blood gag and have it bleed on camera and show how bite marks or zombie bite marks, scratches, or bleeding on camera even works. So what a prosthetic is, I prefer encapsulated silicone prosthetics. This is right here a zombie bite mark. I sculpt a wound first, and then I make a kind of a barrier around it, and then I pour silicone into that mold. And it takes all the detail of everything that I sculpted, and then it basically turns into this. And I make this little like ditch all around it and stuff so that I have something to hold on to, which becomes this when I place it onto somebody. Because once I have this, I then thin out something called baldies, which is basically like a liquid plastic. I thin it with either acetone or alcohol. I basically brush on, or I airbrush the baldies, put on the silicone, I take a squeegee and I thin it all out. I sculpt them very thin. The thinner the better, especially around the edges, because then it can blend into the skin. And then I put another layer of cap plastic on there. And why the cap plastic? Because silicone sticks to nothing. Cap plastic, and put glues all over this, and then it will stick on you. Okay. And then I dissolve and melt away all of that cap plastic part, and what we're left with is just the bite mark. In order to make it bleed, we're gonna have to first make a blood bladder.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna slide this background away because we have things to do. Okay, we don't have time for this white background.
I've always wanted to be an FX artist. That was like my biggest dream. And so around like 2019, I moved out here and I went to cinema makeup school. I made another friend who was coming up in the industry as well. Her name is Mylena Baez. I do want to shout her out. She's amazing. She does beauty makeup as well, so she is better than me. So we became good friends, and then we moved in together. We moved in with just an air mattress and like 2 suitcases, and then the pandemic happened. So we were like, dang, like what can we do? So my background, my foundation is illustration, drawing, and concept work. So I started 3D designing and sending over some concept work kind of all over the area, all over the US. And when I would send a design, I'd be like, well, like you can have that. No sets are working, nothing's going on right now. I promise you I also can make that.
Oh, nice.
And so once COVID, kind of dispersed a little bit and sets reopened, then I got a bunch of calls because I spent all that time networking and I spent all that time practicing. Then the clientele started growing. That's
amazing,
just like
though.
That. Yeah.
The gift of gab.
And making promises.
Promises that you can keep. That's most important.
That you can keep. This is a really fun way and my favorite way of making a blood bladder. And it is super cheap and it is super ghetto. And I love it. These are bladders I've never used. Okay. And I keep them as an example because they are so durable. And it's made out of a Ralph's bag, my favorite, KY jelly.
That's hilarious.
Or any lube is really good. And opside tape, we get a little marker. I don't know which one is working. And this is gonna be the distributor for the blood to the gag. And the monojet, this is really cool. We're gonna fill it up with blood. And then I'm just gonna insert the blood inside here. And then as I push, all the blood travels. And then it goes to the bladder. And then it starts bleeding out that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember I had this zombie bite mark. I made this keeping in mind that it was gonna bleed. So I made all these parts around here, some holes all over it. I took this, put it on a piece of paper, and I measured it out where the prosthetic is gonna be. Because I want the bladder to fit underneath this prosthetic and not show. And I cut it out and I got this. And I made sure that there's this little like hose that sticks out of wherever the prosthetic is, like right around here. And it comes out and it fits right here.
Okay.
That's very important. Whenever you're on set, this is a one shot. We're done, because no one's gonna want to refilm it.
Yeah. So do you want that to be super tight, or do you want to have a little bit of like a
It can have a little bit of give, because what I also do, I take some tape.
Okay.
I wrap it around.
Okay. You're like, this is not gonna fail.
Like, it never failed.
Hey guys, we're going to switch over to voiceover for this little tutorial. After creating her template, Veniesa grabbed a grocery bag and cut it open along the top, bottom, and along one side so it would lay nice and flat. Then she spread a thin layer of lubricant inside of the bag. This step helps the plastic stick to itself while forming the bladder. Then she folded the bag in half and smoothed it out to make sure both sides were adhered evenly. Next, she placed her bladder template on the bag and traced around the shape. Before cutting, she double-checked that the hose would fit properly inside the bladder. Once she was sure, she carefully cut out the shape using sharp scissors. To waterproof the bladder, Veniesa cut out 4 strips of medical tape, each large enough to completely cover the piece. She folded the ends of 2 strips back and stuck them onto the table, sticky side facing up. Then she pressed the bladder onto them. This created the first layer of the seal. After smoothing it out, she placed 2 more strips of tape over the top, fully enclosing the bladder. She then trimmed away the extra plastic, but left a small border of tape all the way around the edge. That seam is important. It ensures that the bladder stays sealed and won't leak. Finally, using the holes in her prosthetic as a guide, Veniesa marked where the openings needed to be. With a knife and scissors, she carefully cut out matching holes onto the bladder on one side where the blood would flow through. And now it's time for application.
I'm using some 99% alcohol to just strip away some of the oils on your skin. And then I'm going to use skin prep as like a nice safety barrier on top of your skin.
Oh, nice.
With the glues. But it's also tacky.
While she's prepping my skin, I really wanted to ask her a few questions so you guys can get to know her a little bit better. What first drew you to the world of special effects makeup?
Oh, I was scared of everything when I was little. I was scared of, like, if the wind blew, I was terrified. And my parents were just so annoyed with me. I remember one time my dad mentioned, he's like, it's fake. Then I started loving the movie Men in Black. And I remember seeing the name pop up, Rick Baker, as special effects makeup. And I'm like, and my dad's like, oh, that's what it's called.
Okay, so which SFX techniques are you most comfortable with or do you specialize in?
Oh, definitely silicone. But I got really used to working with silicone of different kinds because in my apartment, I can't really cook and make foam latex as much as I love it. But silicone is very safe. And it's very apartment friendly. It is more expensive though. It's gonna be right here.
Perfect.
It could be anywhere. So I'll just do it here. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's where it's gonna be.
What do you think is the most misunderstood part of being an SFX makeup artist?
It's not fast, and that it's cheap. It's fast and it's cheap. I love face-off. I grew up with it. That exposed me to special effects, and I hope it comes back. And I would love to contend on it, but it made everyone think
that you can just do that.
You can do it in 3 days. It's very, very, very labor intensive. Like making the molds and doing all of the stuff. It is very hard. There's times where I didn't sleep for 2 days making this crazy thing. It had so many steps. And I was seeing like ghosts and everything. I'm like sculpting like a tweaker. Oh my god. Sometimes we're just like, you know what? They just disappear. I have a bunch of half-done things that took me like 2 weeks to do, like very little sleep.
You get paid up front, right?
Well, I get paid up front for the materials and sometimes the labor costs. But this project, they kept adding ideas. So then I would have to go on Excel and readjust and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's difficult doing this back and forth. And they basically then just disappeared. And I never got paid my labor costs. And so, but I was so tired, I didn't even care.
Oh, you're I just gotta go to bed.
I just fell asleep.
For a while, I did beauty makeup. And that's part of the reason why I stopped doing it.
Oh, yeah?
Because especially for beauty artists, people are just completely okay with ghosting you. And people are so okay with like trying to talk you down from your prices. I was like, I want to go a different route. And my husband's always like, why don't you get back into it? Because it takes so much patience.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that would happen for your industry either. Like, that's crazy.
I started just making a full budget breakdown of how expensive every product is. All of my materials are very expensive. How much labor I have to put into it. So I'll take your script. I come up with a creature design or whatever. And I always try and keep in mind, like, your budget and everything. I find a way to do things faster, bigger, stronger, better for your price.
Also, did you say which adhesive you were using already?
Oh,
I can't remember to say that.
Telesis 8 I know this bottle looks crazy, doesn't it? It's because I do a lot of work.
So are there any safety or ethical considerations that you keep in mind while you're working?
Yes, 100% of the time, the whole time. Like, are you allergic to anything? You know, are you claustrophobic if I'm life casting you?
Oh, don't be afraid or anything. I don't think you're using any latex. I am allergic to latex. But
yeah, okay, I have no latex on you.
So as a person who's allergic to latex, and I use a lot of like temporary adhesives, what is the best thing to use? Because I do use liquid latex all the time.
You, even though you're allergic to latex?
Yes, I do. And I just pop a Benadryl. I'm like, it'll be fine.
What happens? Like,
hives.
Hives?
Yeah, hives.
Oh,
sometimes a little rash. Just pop a Benadryl. It'll be fine.
So, silicone, but here's the thing. It's all of that annoying stuff of like mold making and this.
Oh,
and
yeah. So that's just
yeah.
a complete adjustment over there.
Yeah, I'm just cutting this right here.
So what advice would you give to someone starting out in special effects?
Learn beauty makeup.
So what type of beauty do you mean? Do you mean like classic beauty,
beauty
like wedding makeup, or like TV makeup? Because they're completely different.
I've been on a lot of sets, a lot of intense sets and everything. I've worked with some really tough people, crazy environments. I'm still terrified of doing weddings.
I used to do weddings.
Scared. It's like storming the beaches of Normandy.
No, but that's why I have this bias. I'm like, I'm scared.
You can go on cruise. If you've done beauty makeup, you can go on set and not be scared of anything. Because nothing, I don't care what, a man is never as scary as what a woman can be. Like, no director's ever gonna yell at you like that bride did.
Or cry.
There's or tears. Do any of that. Yeah. You know? Learn like how to make somebody look very pretty naturally. You know, make it look as natural as possible. And then start experimenting with like scar wax or something. Like sculpting, play around with paints, watercolor paints, gouache paints, every kind of paint, because that's going to be important if you are interested in shop work specifically.
So what's the biggest mistake that you ever made on set?
I do a lot of practices, so I when I go on set, I do know exactly what I'm going to do on this artist. It was this really beautiful house, and I was like, oh, this house is lovely, oh, it's so pretty. And the lady was like, you know, really anal about the house. But at one scene, this woman like spills a bunch of like black liquid out of her mouth. And he's this thing called Mouth FX that is amazing, an amazing product. And I went into a phase where I was using that with like everything. I was obsessed with it. Everyone gets into that phase. It was this black goo, basically. So they had her on the bed in one scene. She's fighting with a man and it kind of gets everywhere. And they told me I couldn't be in the room at the time because it was a very tight space. So they're like, hey, can you leave the room real quick while we just film this? I'm like, okay, everything good? They're like, yeah, everything's good. And they didn't have a monitor up for me to pay attention. Well, all the sheets are completely white. I thought it was like their sheets. I wasn't paying attention. I didn't ask the right questions. And the lady comes back who owns the house and she's like, I better not see a drop of anything anywhere. I'm very clean. And so I was very confidently like, nope, you won't. Because she was around my station in the other room. I'm cleaning things, cleaning my brushes. And I'm like, girl, you will not. I promise you. And then she leaves. She just disappears because she's like, and then she says, before she leaves, she says, otherwise I'm taking it out of your pay, whatever I need to fix. And so I was like, I got you. So I was on set with this other girl, and then the director comes in, he runs in the room, and he goes, we have that black mouth stuff like all over the sheets, all over this pillow. And he like leaves. And I'm like, what? So then I take the bottle and I'm like, it has to say like how it comes out. And so I'm calling other big effects artists. I'm like, how do I get this out? And they're like, you can't. It's permanent. Like, it's permanent.
Oh, and you had no idea because it was just your new fixation.
So we're freaking out. So we're putting alcohol on it, putting acetone on it. We're putting everything on this pillow. And we're trying to scrub out this black ink that was like from her mouth. And I gave up and I'm like, I'm losing all the money. I know that she's going to freak out about this. It's also a really nice like pillowcase. It got
like
to
probably some like weird Italian something.
And this is when SpongeBob saved my life. And the girl who was working with me, she goes, hey, remember that SpongeBob episode where they got that paint on that dollar bill and only came out with spit? And we started laughing. And then we were like, if it's mouth effects, it's obviously soluble.
Oh, yeah.
So then I grabbed the pillow and I started spitting on the pillow and rubbing it, and it was coming out. the whole thing out. We're just taking turns spinning on this woman's pillow. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but you don't know. And then she comes in the room and I was like, oh, just wash this pillow real quick. I put it in her washing machine and I was like, yeah, just wash out soap, good soap and water. Everything's good. And it was all out. And she was like, you are so clean and you are so professional. Like, I am so happy with the job that you did. And I was like, period. And oh my God. Don't ever let anyone convince you that SpongeBob is not educational.
What's your favorite horror or sci-fi film from a makeup perspective?
The Thing. Such a cliche answer, but I don't care. I love it.
What's your favorite part about it?
Oh man, it's Rob Bottin did the special effects for it. It has so many moving parts on screen. Favorite part is probably they were gonna give this guy like, what's it called, the little shockers?
I don't
And
remember.
they go to like put that on this guy on this table, but his stomach opens up and it's a mouth and it chops off this guy's arms, and then he's like, oh, and then his head comes off and then turns into like this alien spider, and you see his neck slowly like getting pulled apart. It's an unbelievable movie. But I actually have two answers with the makeup perspective, because it's The Thing for special effects.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say The Neon Demon for beauty. Like, talk about a movie that makes you love beauty makeup. If you want to fall in love again with it, this movie does it. It has subtle makeup. It has these big glam looks, and it's a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very subtle. It's very quiet.
So how did you learn how you should price yourself?
I got played for years. You know, sometimes I used to guess, and I was really desperate for work.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really desperate to get started, because it's really hard to start pushing the boulder, but once it starts going, it goes. And that's great. But it was really hard to start. It's a catch-22, isn't it? You want to be an effects artist, and you want to get hired for jobs to be an effects artist, but they don't want to hire you because you don't have anything in portfolio. Everyone's scared to be your first job.
Yeah.
Because you're going to screw up, and that's okay. You're going to mess up. It's fine. Just pretend like everything's on purpose.
Don't cry.
Yeah.
Or if you do, hide it.
Yeah, just go in the other room.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, dang, I'll just work for free. But I guess it was after this one set specifically, hated it. I worked it for $250. It was a lot of work. It was way more than $250. Actually, I worked with my partner. She made these beautiful horns that worked in tandem with the prosthetic I made, turning this man's face basically into this African god, just made up. But I turned his whole forehead into like an ankh. And he was completely blue and gold with this red jewel in the middle of this like ankh eyebrow sort of piece. It was amazing. But like $250 is not even the materials for just the horns. And then we get in set, and it was like we were just like played. Like it was very disrespectful to our work. And then she kept just adding more things on top of it on set. And so we spent 6 hours doing this beautiful makeup. And it was a really hot like August day. We were done with him at like 11 a.m. Guess when she filmed him? 2 a.m. Ooh, yeah, 11 a.m. And he was in this makeup with these giant horns, this whole thing prosthetic. Well, no one knew. No one said no. Baby, no one knew why.
That's really mean, actually.
It was horrible. Imagine the makeup is now coming undone. So we're fixing it. I was like, it's done. It's costing more money.
Yeah.
Materials to fix it. And I was like, so we were out like maybe $1,200 or something.
And that's when you learned.
And I was like,
no more freebies.
And she didn't allow us to take off the makeup the right way. She's like, Veniesa, I don't want you using that tool to take off this makeup because it's too loud. I don't want to wake the neighbors. We were on a sound stage. I'm like, girl, like it was so bad. So it made taking the makeup off take 6 hours. We weren't out there till 4 a.m.
I don't think I have anything that bad from the beauty space. It's more so like tears. I don't think I've ever had to deal with like a bridezilla. Brides are normally chill. Well, I think bridezillas are kind of easy to manage if you distract them. It's about the snacks. It's about compliments. Telling her she's the most beautiful person you've ever seen in your life.
Oh.
Yeah. So if you kiss ass and...
I mean, we do too.
Yeah.
I mean, we're dealing with actors.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta be like, you're the best.
You're phenomenal.
You know, I'm working on a lot of tough, dude bros. And, I love dude bros. I love, whatever. But they hate sitting in a chair. and they hate like the makeup process. You know, they can't sit still for too long. Then in their mind, they're like, this is a tough, really hard process. I think they get self-conscious, like, oh, am I not like tough enough for this? Everyone wants to work on a woman because they're used to the pain for the look. And I just tell all the men, I'm always like, oh, it's fine.
That's funny. Yeah, my husband, he's an actor.
Yeah.
And I always told him, I'm like, if you're going to use your nepotism, if we're going to be like Nepo babies and stuff, I will die in a movie.
Yes.
I will. Like, whatever you need me to do, I will get my head chopped off. I will be a monster. Like, I have no real goals of being an actor. Yeah. But I will die in a movie. Guys, this is what it's looking like right now. I think it looks so gross. Now that the prosthetic and the bladder are in place, Venesa's going to take the hose and insert it to the strip that's hanging out. Then she's going to take a little bit more of that medical tape and wrap it around so everything is nice and tight and waterproof. And now usually I would then tape this down your wardrobe or some other like specific area. I'm just making sure that blood's going to pump through it. And it will, because it's blowing out. I will be inserting the blood now, and it should, if we did everything right, drip just from right here, just down. Oh, I'm sorry. That was cold. You said it was cold, yeah. It's like that is freezing. Thank you so much, Veniesa. Oh, I love it so much. Let us know what you're doing and how to find you. So you can find me at Veniesa_SFX on Instagram, and my website is in the bio. But thank you so much if you made it this far in this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. Bye.